Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why?
Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights.
Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm Deb Drick, Chair of Livingston County Republican Party. Our conservative message has been very well received in Livingston County, and I'm so happy to share with you that people are stepping up right and left to help. The only thing's missing is you. Come join our mission. Come join our fun. Go to livingstonrepublicans.com and click join. You'll be glad you did.
All rise for this week's Judicial Minute with Christopher Candela.
Hi everyone, I'm Christopher Candela, and I'm running to be your next Circuit Court Judge here in Livingston County. As an avid outdoorsman, this week we're talking about major changes to Michigan's hunting laws, recently approved by the Michigan Natural Resources Commission. Starting this year, the limited firearm zone is gone. Hunters in the Lower Peninsula can now use legal rifles, including bottleneck cartridges, statewide during the firearm season. Then in 2027, the new one buck rule takes effect, limiting most hunters to 1 buck per season. A pilot Earn a Buck program may also allow some hunters to harvest a second buck with 4 points or more. For a full breakdown, visit the news and events section on my website at CandelaForJudge.com. And remember, vote Candela for Circuit Court Judge in the August 4th primary.
Tune in next week for another Judicial Minute with Christopher Candela.
I'm an attorney who goes to work every day to fight for our community and defend our Constitution. My name is Christina Like, and now I want to be your next Circuit Court Judge. And that means ensuring our constitutional rights are protected, protecting the innocent lives of our children, making decisions based upon rule of law and not politics, making court more affordable, and always placing the people first.
Someone once said, "Where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart." What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30 plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing intentionally.
Whoops. Nope, not 7 seconds. I missed the button. Hi. Welcome to the end of May. Where did May go? It is May 26th. How did this happen? It is the day after Memorial Day. Yikes. And I am happy to welcome back our good friend Kevin Rinke, who always comes with all kinds of interesting ideas and thoughts and plans and all kinds of stuff. So buckle up and sit back and grab your coffee or your Pepsi or whatever it is you want, and let's hear from our good friend Kevin Rinke. So that was your one shot to look at me.
There you go.
I know you're gonna get kicked under the table from this point on. So all right. So let's see what we got here. We got some Mark Ashley Price from Wayne County. Greetings from Wayne County. It was so important he said it twice. Okay, there we go. So we've got it twice now. Kevin, welcome back. Welcome to the red county of Livingston. We're always glad to have you here. I'd just have you on a regular schedule. You always got interesting things to think about and talk about, and you always leave us with interesting thoughts.
Well, I appreciate that. It's nice to see the folks in Livingston County again.
And I was asked this time to talk about education.
Yes. Well, I saw a post just to get everybody up. Kevin had posted his thoughts about education, and I thought, well, that's timely considering education is on everybody's brain. Plus, we're working with MDE candidates. So I invited him to come here and share his thoughts. So you have the floor, sir. Tell us what you're thinking.
Well, I think that we've got a structural crisis in Michigan education. And for starters, the challenge with this crisis, as I see it, is that the citizens of Michigan don't recognize just how bad it is. So let's think about some things. And these numbers are irrefutable numbers that have been posted by the state.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, this past year, public education in Michigan, 50% of our seniors that graduated could not read at grade level.
Is this statewide or
statewide? Public education.
Half of the seniors.
Half of the seniors in the state can't read, and so I pose the question: is that important to you? And what are their chances of success as they move on to college? Because many people think that college is a right and should be offered to everyone, and college is getting expensive.
Mm-hmm.
How likely are you to succeed if you can't read?
I don't know how they got through. I don't know how they got through fourth grade if they couldn't read.
Well, we don't.
How could they go through
we don't hold kids back because kids have no rights to a quality education in the state of Michigan. I want to repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
The state has no obligation, constitutionally inscribed, the state has no obligation to a quality education. They have to provide a structure, a building. They have to provide a licensed representative. But you know what? That's where it ends. And there's no incentive to hold a kid back to teach them. And in many instances, teachers are reprimanded. So you push the kid off.
I have heard that, yes.
Yeah. So we talked about seniors, 50%. But now we need to test our younger kids. And the last test that was conducted in the city of Detroit, 17%, that's 17% of third graders could read at the third grade level.
And this is Detroit.
That's Detroit.
That is.
It's under 30% statewide. So, a lot of folks say, well, we can fix it. We can teach them in fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade. Here's the problem. In Michigan, we don't teach reading after third grade. If 17% of Detroit children are all that can read, what's that do for their future? What do they have to look forward to? Nothing but failure.
If statewide by third grade they don't know how they can't, only 30% can read.
Yeah.
How do they go from 30 to 50 at 12th grade? Do they somehow figure, do 20% more grow over the years?
Well, you've got a percentage of suburban students that can get tutoring.
Okay.
You have online access. You have entities like Beyond Basics, which is a phonics-based program that the state of Michigan has supported previously, but unfortunately in this last budget eliminated all their funding. Interesting fact, phonics-based learning to read can provide 90% success. As high as 92%, and the state of Michigan chooses not to teach phonics.
That blows my mind. You know, I could read at 3.
Yeah.
My mom taught me, my grandma taught me using phonics. I taught my kids, all my kids could read before 3. I taught them with phonics.
Yeah.
I have grandsons that learned at 2. They were under 3. They were like 2.5, 2 of them. And they could read by using phonics. I taught them all this with the same cat, hat, fat, sat, pat, whatever,
Absolutely.
by the phonics.
It's not fancy.
No,
it just works.
It works.
works.
But by the time I was in kindergarten, I was reading short little books, and I was loving the reading. And so I don't understand why would they drop phonics? What was the
I can't speak for the reason.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny. For me, all my kids are through the school systems.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There is zero in this for me.
Right.
I care about the kids. And if the focus is on the children, then it makes sense to me to say that we have a school system that has record funding with the lowest results we've ever had in the state of Michigan. We don't have a funding problem. And because we don't have a funding problem, that says to me that we have a structural problem. Now, on the Republican side, we have candidates that say they're going to fix education. And they talk from 100,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't fix education.
Mm-mm.
On the Democratic side, we have Gretchen Whitmer, who has said that she was going to fix education, and she has been less successful at education than she has been at fixing the damn roads. So, correspondingly, we can point fingers. We can say, oh, it's all the poor folks. That's the problem. Not true.
Mm-mm.
In the Grosse Pointe public schools, only 52% of the seniors read at grade level that graduated. That's the rich folks, okay? In Grand Rapids, it was in the low 50s that graduated that read
Grand
at
Rapids
grade
has
level.
some of the highest paid
Yes.
everything out there in the state.
So, what I'm looking for, we've got an election coming up, and I'm an issues guy,
Mm-hmm.
okay? I ran on issues. What I find interesting, go back and look, the issues that I ran on are the issues that are being talked about today. The difference is what candidate, be it Republican or Democrat, that actually is willing to not talk about an issue, but say, here's how I'm going to fix it. And that's what I'm working on. Because, of course, most people have a very low understanding of how difficult it is. We have a system that we acknowledge is failing, but that you can't sue the system to change. Why can't you sue it to change? Well, it's called the Blaine Amendment in the Headley Act. And you have lawsuits in 1971 and 1973 that protect the status quo. What's so disheartening to me is that as we funded record levels for public education, only about 7% of that money got to the teachers, into the classroom. 96%. 94% went to administrative fees and legacy costs. All that money. Nothing to help the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I don't give a damn about what your building looks like. I don't care that you don't have an AstroTurf football field
Right.
or brand new uniforms. I don't care about the legacy costs, and I realize that really rankles some folks. What I care about is the kids first. And years of mismanagement is not an excuse to make the children suffer. And money isn't the issue. We rank currently 46th out of 50 states in literacy. Michigan isn't going to turn around if our children are dumb. Okay?
Okay.
They're good kids. And I realize dumb is harsh, but if you cannot read, you can't do math, you cannot do science, and what do you become? A ward of the state. And in a state that the fastest growing demographic is 65 and older, the ability to treat our children and change requires a structural effort. So I came up with one.
I was hoping you did.
I came up with one.
You gonna share it?
And it works.
All right.
Yeah. It's the all-child literacy engine. Okay? Every policy's got to have a fancy name.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure.
And here was my goal. Contrary to what some people say, I don't blame the teachers. And I realize there's lousy teachers. There's also great teachers.
Yeah.
I don't blame the family. There's great families and there's failing families. And there's successes in both.
That's right.
All I care about is the result. So if you're a finger pointer, if you want to come up with excuses, turn this show off, go have a drink, watch something stupid on TV, and don't bother commenting because I don't want to suffer fools.
Okay.
All I care about is the kids. So what do we got to do?
All right.
We're at a historical crossroads. We've got record funding and record poor results. And what do we need to do to change that? Well, I spoke about record funding. And one of the core principles of the policy that we won't get into full details tonight, but that I'm going to continue to push.
Okay.
I'm going to push on our candidates, be it Republican or Democrat. I'm going to push on who's in Lansing because this is bipartisan and it works and it gets great results for everybody. And oh, by the way, it's revenue neutral.
Oh boy, that's
okay.
Those are some magic Republican words right there.
Structural changes. How about structural change number one? The policy establishes a statutory floor for direct educational spending. And I'm choosing my words. They are legal. They are correct. They have to be technical in nature so the idiots don't sue to tie it up. See, who suffers if a governor comes into office and they present a bad policy that gets tied up for 2 or 3 or 4 years, or maybe ultimately gets defeated? The kids.
Mm-hmm.
This policy overcomes the legal challenges and it benefits the kids. Not everyone's going to like it. This policy allows teachers to choose, doesn't force them. It allows school districts to choose, doesn't force them. It allows parents to choose, doesn't force them. But it's wise use of your money. So, one of the elements is school spending, administration, and it's very specifically defined in the policy, can only be 30% of the money that you send to Lansing or that you send to your county that is in turn applied to your kids' education. Capped at 30%. 70 cents of every dollar goes to the classroom. We're currently not doing anywhere near that. In fact, it's less than 50 cents.
Yep.
It's less than 40 cents. It's less than 30 cents.
Yeah.
So is this a big change? Yeah. Can we do it without getting sued? Yes, we can. This policy offers and respects localized collective bargaining. Okay? And quite often that collective bargaining is what prevents changes in the classrooms because Lansing can't mandate. The Blaine Amendment and the Headley Amendments protect that. Traverse City versus the state of Michigan, I think, was the case in 1971 that supported the Blaine Amendment, and it says you can't make it mandatory. But what you can do with the money that you save by capping administrative fees at 30% creates tremendous opportunity. And how about we have an incentive for teachers? I'm not going to call them good teachers or bad teachers. How about we offer an incentive? If the state has a summer phonics reading certification program. And the state offers teachers an option to complete that program. It's a state stipend. And it's awarded to any active K-12 teacher who independently completes a state-vetted Science of Reading summer phonics certification program. Teacher doesn't have to do it.
Right.
But it's a $3,000 stipend if they do. Okay?
Okay.
How about, I like this term, I call it combat pay.
Combat pay. All right.
Yeah. You know, what are the excuses as though we can't get good teachers in poor districts? But we're going to free up all this money. And remember, it's still revenue neutral. And how about we offer an automatic, state-funded $15,000 annual salary supplement paid directly to certified literacy specialists who commit to teaching within the state's bottom decile underperforming school buildings.
So we're talking Detroit, we're talking probably Pontiac, we're talking Flint maybe.
We're talking underperformers,
Right,
wherever they're located.
Right.
A $15,000 incentive.
Okay.
In conjunction with the $3,000, it's $18,000 of additional opportunity.
Yeah.
To have our best performers teach our children who are struggling. I think that that's unique. I think it's creative. I also think this, that when a public school building's third grade reading proficiency drops below 60%, how about we issue a localized literacy emergency declaration? Rather than traditional voucher programs that trigger potential and protracted legal gridlocks, the state deploys localized public pass-through remedial services.
Huh.
Never been done before.
No.
And guess what? It gets around all the lawsuits because it is a health issue. It is a public health emergency.
Okay.
Okay?
So this
eligible
is
families
if it drops
below 60%.
Okay.
Eligible families would receive a digital state literacy card worth $2,500 in microcredits that the parents or the children can use to have certified phonics specialists help them with their reading skills.
Will that money be able to be, will the money be?
It's on a card. It can only be used
for that. Okay.
For that.
Okay. It can't go out and buy a new stereo.
Can't buy a
Okay,
new
all right,
stereo.
okay,
And
okay.
guess what? Every 2 weeks, we have an assessment that the tutor has to give to the child. If the child hasn't progressed, the tutor loses the right to collect from the $2,500 stipend, and another tutor is implemented.
Okay.
This is a results-based,
Yes.
verifiable. It is the best of the best, doing the best program
Okay.
with our kids.
Seems to me they had there was something like that tried, and what happened was teachers just kind of fudged the results, or
Well, they can't.
okay.
They can't. And part of the way you do that is, I'm going to call it a grandmother clause.
A grandmother clause.
A
Okay.
grandmother
A grandmother
clause,
clause.
okay?
All right.
And it's asymmetric community access. We're going to establish physical neighborhood literacy hubs. Okay?
Okay.
We're going to partner with faith-based organizations. We're going to partner with libraries. We're going to partner with community centers
Okay.
so kids have access. with or without their parents.
Okay.
Okay? We're going to do what it takes to make the
a
kids
literacy club sort of
hub.
Okay.
Or club.
Club.
You can call it whatever you want.
From the kids' perspective, it'll be that, yes.
And instead of excuses, we're going to create an environment for the kid to be successful in. We're going to reward teachers who want to participate, but they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to reward communities that want to participate, but they don't have to. It's a choice. And I think that really we've got to say that our kids deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
Our state deserves it. You know, what parent ever goes to someone and says, I want my kid to be dumb? And why do you think kids aren't interested in school? Well, if you can't read, and every day that you go to school, the teacher whoops your ass because you're acting out, why are you acting out?
Right.
Well, maybe it's because you can't read and you can't participate. And like most kids,
that has to be so frustrating for a child to see
terrible.
everybody else moving
terrible.
on, or at least even half of them, if it's 50% or 20% or whatever it is, seeing kids participate. And then, I mean, they would have in their head, I'm an idiot, I'm dumb, I'm stupid.
Well, that's what they're called.
Yeah,
they get sent down to the principal's office. You know,
He's confusing.
Mr. Jones, what are you doing down here again, boy?
Yes.
You know, well, I got thrown out for acting up. Why were you acting up? Well, that kid wanted attention.
Well, on top of that, he was probably bored because he could not engage. Oh, man, oh, man.
And in today's world, you know what we do with that kid?
What?
We say, congratulations, you graduated. And you graduated. And then when they get to their senior year, we say, congratulations, you graduated again, and we'll give you a scholarship. And then we turn around and say, well, you got to pay that scholarship money back. We've set them up to fail.
I agree.
Okay.
All right, we got to take some questions here. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming in. So let's see. We got Russ Jennings from Jackson County saying hello. Hi.
Hey, Russ.
Hi there. Also, Jennifer Aaron from Genesee County, I believe. Jennifer, am I correct? Is that Genesee? A daycare in Jackson, he says, has 3 and 4-year-olds reading using phonics. And that's probably the best thing that could be happening for those kids right now. Karen Bukowski. Hi, Karen. The more they've digitalized and unionized, the worse the scores. Drop the screens, restrict the unions, our children will succeed.
You know, Karen, you're right on that. Do you realize that there's data coming out that say that children that are taught to read on a computer screen have 38% less comprehension than children that are taught utilizing a book? And they're starting to measure how a brain responds to a physical book versus a computer screen, and it's stunning, the difference. Yep, a kid can pass, maybe get by, but their comprehension levels really, really struggle. And this proposal that I'm putting forth is a book-driven proposal, not a screen proposal.
I agree. Okay, so Jennifer, shameful. She cares that our kids can read and write, and thinks that Whitmer's education has been a disaster. Mark Ashley Price thinks you're awesome. Scott Greenlee, hello friends. Hi Scott. Good
Hey
to
Scotty,
see you.
how are you, buddy?
Mr. Kevin, you should run for a local school board or state board in 2028. I would go one higher. I'm hoping whoever maybe you should take over the state superintendent's job and implement some of this stuff.
You know
that
what?
way it doesn't matter which, you know what? Doesn't matter which governor is behind this stuff. If they give you the reins, go for it.
See, and again, I say this, I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat.
I agree.
Don't care.
But a Democrat won't do this.
Well, you know.
And you know it, and I know it.
If I want a teacher to look at their union.
Mm-hmm.
If the union says in that community, don't opt into this program, don't utilize these fees or these monies, why would the union tell you not to take a free $1,000 phonics-based program that will help you control your classroom and teach your kids successfully. Why would the union say to a teacher, we don't want you to take that $15,000 direct payment to teach in those schools?
Well, because it's not the union.
Well,
does
the union benefit the union, or does it benefit the teacher and the children?
Question asked, question answered.
Question answered.
Yeah, I don't think that. I don't.
These direct payments, by the ways, would be around union dues.
Right.
The union can't collect on these.
Yeah.
They're direct to the teacher, and.
Well, there's a lot of what a union should. There's a lot of discussion on what a union should or shouldn't do, but there's still the realistic. Whether a union will do this. I mean, if they feel like,
I don't think the union and the administration are going to want to do it.
No, they're not. Their union won't. I know that.
But think of it this way. We have less kids today in our public school system than we had 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Administration in our schools is up 2,000%. The number of administrators.
I know. I read that somewhere. That is amazing to me.
With the same number of children. And with that 2,000% increase, we're spending more money and getting worse results. The system's broke. It's going to take a leader, not a politician, a leader that says, this is about the kids. I want to do it legally. I want to do it equitably for the children.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And if you care about your kid, if you care about your state, I don't care what party you support. Support this program. It works for your kid.
It does. I think it will. I agree with you. I just, like I said, there's no Democrat that will do that, at least not until those unions are neutralized.
Maybe there are Democrats. I'm going to pick the wonderful state of Massachusetts.
Okay.
They were ranked 48th in the country. And Massachusetts is just a little blue, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Little blue. They implemented a phonics-based reading program.
Right.
That the unions were against.
Okay.
That a Democratic governor said, enough is enough.
Okay.
They went to number 1 in the country.
All right.
There are 3 democratically controlled states that switched to phonics-based programs, despite the objections of the teachers' union.
Sure.
That are in the top 10.
You see any Michigan candidates that you think will be doing that as a Dem?
Well, I think that one Democratic candidate in particular, I would believe would welcome this type of program.
Do you think that candidate is Jocelyn Benson?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I you don't want to know what I think about Jocelyn Benson.
Yeah,
it's like
this is a Republican show. We all want to know what you think.
Schizo, wacko.
All right, so schizo,
wacko.
No. I asked.
You get it.
No, this is program's called The Right Side. We don't try to make this
look
fair
at the
and balanced.
video of her talking to the UAW.
Okay.
She's unhinged. She literally is unhinged. Look at her facial expressions. Look at how she reacts. I mean, enough is enough. These are serious problems. These are our kids, for God's sakes. You don't need a wacko trying to pander. You need someone who has the chutzpah to get you a result.
Okay.
And so on the Democratic side, I would think Chris Swanson would welcome this type of program. He's a no-nonsense guy. He's a sheriff. He's certainly, in my view, a better representative of the people of Michigan on both sides of the aisle than Jocelyn Benson ever could be or would be.
That would be a pretty low bar, but yes.
Hey, you know what?
I agree with you, but it is a low bar.
Pregnant ants can't get under Jocelyn Benson's bar, okay? It's awful. So it's a low bar.
It is.
Swanson does it. On the Republican side, I think that two candidates, and I'm not going to say which two, but I think one of them is more business related and one of them is won statewide and the other one's lost statewide. So the business guy and the one that's won statewide are more inclined to adopt this.
Well, why don't you just say it now?
Well, if you don't know, you know what? If
you do. We all do.
If you can't figure it out,
we all do. At this point,
don't complain with what you get.
No, we yeah.
Okay, I want a candidate that's willing to do something.
Right.
And I want a candidate that is in it for something other than themselves.
Well, I think a candidate. I mean, our governor. I think.
Anthony Hudson. He said he'd welcome this program. Anthony, that's the first smart thing I've ever heard you say.
Why not?
Why not? I'm giving credit where credit's due. Good for you, Anthony.
All right.
By the way, you were a star in that Mike Cox thing that Chris
Oh my God.
I gotta tell you. Why not? You were great, Anthony.
I almost wet my pants laughing at that one.
I love it.
Anthony, I gotta say, you were a good sport.
You are a good sport
he
for
said,
that.
He put it out. I mean, he posted it and said he doesn't like Chris. He doesn't like Chris, but that's pretty. He had to admit it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
And Anthony, thank you for responding. Yeah. You're a good sport.
Starring role. You were the leadoff batter there.
I love it.
My favorite part of that my favorite Anthony Hudson. I mean, there was a million favorite parts of that, but my favorite part of Anthony Hudson's part is when Ralph starts to pray and Anthony takes off his hat and he's still wearing a hat. He's got a hat in his hand and a hat on his head. And I looked at that and I thought, I wonder if it's because nobody's ever seen him with a hat off. Nobody knows what he looks like under that hat. So I don't know. I don't know why Chris did that, but it was pretty funny. But anyway.
Mark Price had a comment that he doesn't think all unions are bad. And you know what, Mark?
Where does he say that? Oh, well, it says,
either do I.
He said the Democrats. He said, Miss Deb is right about the Democrats being full of crap. He doesn't think all unions are terrible, but the leadership of them usually are.
Yeah, conceptually, a union that does what it was designed to do, there's some benefits to that.
Yep.
Okay. It's when the union gets out of control.
Yes.
And the teachers union at the federal level and at the state level is out of control.
I know Michigan's is.
Think of it this way. The teachers union will fight parents and children against providing a quality education. And in fact, your children have no legal rights to a quality education, but your kids do have legal rights to go out and get transgender surgery because the teachers union supports that. Think about how stupid that is. The school's there to teach your kids, to educate your kids, reading, writing, arithmetic, science, to set them up to contribute to our beautiful country, our great state, to our nation. And here, they have manipulated the laws to say we can't be held accountable for education, but we sure as heck can change your kid's sex.
Now
that's extreme, and some people aren't going to like that.
It's not extreme. It's happening.
But it's happening.
It's absolutely happening.
Absolutely.
And people think that this is a tinfoil hat or it's on our imagine. It isn't. It's happening all over the place. I was watching yesterday a videotape of a parent absolutely ripping into a school board because he just learned that his daughter had changed her name and become a boy in all ways except physical months before, and he was never brought into the conversation. He was never, and then when he said, wait, I don't have the facts yet, I'm not ready to move along with this, he was then declared by the school to be a terrible parent. And he was trying to get his head wrapped around in it. It just, to me, this is overstep in an egregious way.
Yeah.
Way overstep, where you don't bring the parents into these things. So anyway, but our governors, I started to say this earlier, our gubernatorial candidates, I mean, this is what I feel like we need a governor that's going to say, I care enough about education to get the best person in there that I can find to then revamp it and support anything they do, because no governor's going to go in there and rewrite the script. But if they found a Kevin Rinke or somebody that knows Kevin Rinke's stuff and says, you are now the director, run, change, fix, we'll support it. That's what we need. That we need a governor that's willing to allow people to do what they need to do in the departments they need to do.
If that governor is a Republican, they're going to have to go outside of the establishment in Lansing to accomplish that.
I agree.
They're going to have subject matter experts. And Deb, while I'm flattered that you say, I can research this. My program, and it is a complete policy that is pages long, that is descriptive, that I've been working on for 4.5 years.
Okay.
I'm no expert. Many of you out there are way, way more subject matter experts than me.
Can I interrupt you and just remind you that all those people out there, the subject matter experts, they've been running this stuff for years now. They're the problem. Maybe we need somebody that thinks outside the subject matter expert.
And that's what I've done. We have access. I believe in teachers.
Sure.
Some people want to blame them.
No,
I
don't
like
blame
teachers. I believe in them. Yeah, there's bad ones. There's great
There's
ones.
bad everything's.
Yep. Some people say teachers get paid too much. I think it's a thankless job, especially with the way that some parents act with their children. And the responsibilities of teachers have expanded tremendously since I was a child. But in part, that's based on how the teachers' unions have taken parental rights out of the schools. In part. So
it's a double-edged sword.
It's a double-edged sword.
It is, because part of it is, yes, they're a lot of the stuff that they have to deal with starts from home, but at the same time they're interjecting themselves into the home.
Correct.
By helping,
yes,
students, by being involved in things that they should never have any say over.
And so a lot of people want to fight that fight. When I post things on education, guys, the things that I hear is disheartening to me. I'm going to tell you, it's all bullshit. All the excuses are bullshit. Can't say it any other way.
Mm-hmm.
And
give me some of those excuses.
Care about the kid. Well, single family parents, it's the parents' fault.
No.
Kids can still learn how to read.
Absolutely.
Interesting point. There is no data that a child in a single family is any lower likelihood to be able to learn to read than a child from a two-parent family.
That's right.
Okay? We come up with excuses because we don't want to deal with solutions. And I'm a solutions
right
guy.
there. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And let me back up just a second. I just want to talk about that solutions. I've said this before. I say this. I've said this I raised my kids on this theory. I've managed companies on this theory. I talked to the Republicans about this theory. But I have always said, fault and blame are the two most useless words in the English language. Do not worry about whose fault it is. Do not worry about blaming. Focus on fixing the problem. Focus on the results. And fault and blame don't matter anymore. Yeah. And I love your approach about forgetting. Stop the blame. Stop the fault. Fix the problem.
I used to run my companies and I called it management by exception.
Mm-hmm.
See, I hired employees to do great jobs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I paid them for.
Sure.
So when they did a great job, I didn't always rub them on the back. I didn't always say, oh, God, you're great. That's what I was paying them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I focused on what wasn't working. And interestingly enough, when you spend all your time trying to fix what is wrong, okay, trying to fix what is wrong, you can get results. The system isn't working. We need to structurally change it. My program does, and it respects the teachers, it respects the parents, it respects public education.
So what tell me how, and this is where I think the piece of the puzzle is not made clear, or maybe not spoken about yet. How does this describe revenue neutral? How does this become we're right now we have money going to a school, 80+% of that I would venture, goes to administration, goes to the teachers, goes to the running of the school. 20% actually goes to everything else. So how does this extra money to certain teachers, extra money that you go to the school, extra money if you go to this district, where does all that come from, and how does it become revenue neutral?
So remember, you pay taxes for your education to your county, to your city, and to the state.
Right.
Okay? The state actually ultimately passes out money that is collected to the various schools. And they try and equalize that money. All right? How that money is spent is decided at the local level. And I'm going on record as saying, right now, until we get better educational results, I would encourage every single one of you to vote no on every school millage brought forth.
Yep.
You do not reward poor performance. Having a bigger gym or a swimming pool doesn't teach your kid how to read.
Boy, this is familiar to you Livingston County people who have been watching recently.
Absolutely, it should be. And have the courage to do the right thing for your kid. Don't let them shame you into a bad choice. Don't reward poor performance. So, Michigan has a whole bunch of different issues, but by capping the spend at 30%, it actually forces. Michigan also has a unique problem, is that the state of Florida, I believe, has 11 school districts. I think Michigan has around 800. Someone said that there's 536. I think it's bigger than that, but let's say it is 536.
Okay.
The state of Florida has the same number of residents in their state as the state of Michigan, roughly. They have 11 school districts. The state of Michigan has 500 plus school districts. Remember when I talked about administrative costs? So this program would force districts to work together, force people to, if they wanted to keep their district separate, to work within themselves to stay under that 30%. Otherwise, school aid funding gets halted.
So a couple things here. First of all, Anthony's back here. He said that would you consider consolidating them and look at 83 county school districts? That would get rid of the overpaid administrators and bureaucrats. We could reallocate those salaries.
Anthony, it's in answer to your question. It's not for me to consider.
Yeah.
It's for those counties to consider. And their reasons for being, when you listen to them, they're very passionate about it. But now they've got a choice. They can stay that way, but it will cost them versus help them.
So you're talking about sending Brighton schools, we'll say, or Howell schools. Howell schools right now gets X amount of $1 million. Let's say 60 million. It's going to be more than that, but let's just say 60 million. And right now, 80% of that goes towards salaries and whatnot, teachers, administrators, everything else. 20% goes to everything else. So what you're saying then is you're still going to get your 60 million, but now only 30% of that gets to go to administration. And teacher, and everything else has to go into the classroom.
Yep.
Accounts. Okay.
SLA, student learning accounts.
Okay.
I talked about the $2,500 tutorial.
Okay.
Every kid has access to it. It can only be used by that. It's held by the state.
Okay.
Okay.
How does a school function when you've got when you got all those kids and you got all those teachers? Now you're cutting your teachers.
But you're not cutting the teachers' income at all. The teachers ultimately can get $3,000 credited for if they choose to do the phonics-based program. Sure. It's their choice.
Sure.
Doesn't hurt the teacher's pay. They can get a $15,000 bonus if they choose to teach in an area where kids are struggling.
Okay, so let me do this a different.
So there's still collective bargaining.
Well, no, but let me say this differently because we have a disconnect here and I need to figure out where it is.
Okay.
So let's say it's 100 million. Okay.
Okay.
So
70 million goes into the classrooms for teaching
right now
programs,
800.
and 30 million can be used for administration.
Okay, right now 800 million of that is
Yeah.
if we're talking about. Okay, so you go from 800 million to 30 million or 300 million.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, 8 million to 3 million.
800,000. You said.
Okay, say 1 million, 800,000 to 300,000.
Yeah.
How do you? That's a lot of teachers. That's $500,000.
It doesn't affect the teachers.
How does it not affect the teachers?
It's the administrators.
I don't think the at least in the school I was teaching, the administrator budget was not the same as having all the
outline
teachers.
In
Okay.
the full document
Okay.
what administration is.
Okay.
And it's very specific, and trust me.
Well, that's what's the disconnect because we don't have that part yet.
It breaks down.
Okay.
And I'll talk
So
to the candidates.
Okay.
And whoever endorses the program can take that forward.
All right, so we got a leap of faith here because we don't know what that actually is. Corey here, I want to bring up a comment here. Corey, he says, if actually implemented correctly, those dollars could be useful for teaching reading and childcare. Corey, that's not a bad idea.
Absolutely.
You know, Corey, I believe worked for Lara in the child care department for a long time, and so now works in the MyLeap program where they do a lot of background checks and things for child care. So he's in that industry. That's not a bad idea because if teachers, I mean, if child care centers could be given supplemental income for teaching kids phonics.
We're focusing on education. Okay. It's different than childcare.
Sure.
It's different than the educational budget.
It is.
Isn't it?
It is.
That's right.
But you're still with the kids.
Let's stay on point. We want 90% reading literacy.
Sure.
For our kids in the state of Michigan. There are other states that are accomplishing that. Michigan, of the 50 states, ranks 46th or 47th towards that goal. And that stinks. That doesn't paint a rosy picture for Michigan. Okay? Interestingly enough, the Detroit News and Free Press had an article, front page. Oh, Michiganders don't accept or acknowledge the fact that they're paid less, that education is failing faster in Michigan than other states. So, you know what? We got to talk about this because your neighbor might say, well, my kid can read, but they don't know. They just say it because they're your neighbor and they live in your neighborhood. And of course, every kid in your neighborhood can read. It's the other kids in the other neighborhoods that can't read. When we talk about income, when you have uneducated kids going through the educational system, do you think employers want to come here and pay top dollar? Of course they don't. They have higher turnover, they have higher startup fees, they have higher retention fees. Why do you think other states are failing? Interesting data came out and people wanted to argue about it. And it's a simple statement that red states, Republican-run states, income is growing at a faster percentage than democratically run states. Michigan is a democratically run state. And people wanted to say, oh, those percentage numbers, they lie. That's an excuse.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Michigan's failing, folks. The state we love, the state that we hold so dear, that is so beautiful. It is not heresy to admit that you got a pimple on the end of your frickin' nose. And we got a big zit on the end of our nose.
We do.
Let's fix it. Let's fix it.
I agree. And I see these other states that have done it, and Mississippi's the one that I keep hearing, and that was the one that was at the bottom and suddenly went to the top.
Well,
and they did it so quickly.
Yeah, it's a phonics-based program. They call it the Mississippi Miracle. One of the two candidates that I believe wants educational change references the Mississippi Miracle a lot, and it sounds great. There's a whole bunch of reasons that Michigan's program would struggle if we replicated the Mississippi Miracle.
So we need to put our own spin on it that would work for us.
Hence,
yours. Okay.
Hence, this one works. It uses some of the same levers and tools, but Michigan can't do what Mississippi did because Mississippi didn't have a Blaine Amendment. Michigan can't do what Mississippi did because Mississippi didn't have a Headley Act. Michigan can't do what Mississippi did because of the 1971 Supreme Court decision, Traverse City versus the State Board. There's a whole bunch of precedents. So we have to work within a system that's unique to us, and we have to have solutions that can be applied to that system, because we aren't going to simply wish it away.
Mm-hmm.
Just no. The truth.
Well, I am, when you are ready to kind of give up the rest of those secrets, I'm all ears. I would love to have that discussion. I'm still trying to make the leap from $500,000 or $800,000 out of $1 million toward teachers and administration, from going to that to $300,000. Yeah. I believe you have a plan. I just haven't figured it out yet. So yeah. I'm anxious to figure that out at some point.
Well, I'll tease you.
You've been doing that since you got here.
2 state board elected officials are familiar with the plan.
Oh, so now you're making me go call Tom?
And they said, oh, guess what? This works.
Okay. All right.
Oh, guess what? This gets around Blaine. Oh, guess what? This gets around Headley. Oh, guess what? This gets around collective bargaining. Oh, guess what? This will get results for our children.
Okay, so
you know what?
You're gonna
either you think inside the box or you think outside the box.
I'm agreeing with you.
I'm a leader. I'm not a follower.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
And this is the type of program we need.
And
at least we should discuss it.
Yes, I'm willing. we're waiting. So what is the next step for this plan? And when is it going to be the rest, this little teaser you've given us here, when is the rest of this going to be revealed?
Candidly, I'm going to go to a couple of candidates.
Okay.
And meet with their teams.
Okay.
And I'm going to show them the plans.
Fair enough.
And I am hopeful that one of those candidates will say, wow, I want to do this, and I'm willing to commit to doing it publicly. I'm willing to take your talking points, which are proven and validated with all the documents, all the lawsuits, all the rationale behind it, district by district, and say, this makes sense to me. And if a candidate's willing to do that, I'll give it to them. It can be their plan. I just don't want to wait. And if the people of Michigan recognize that education is failing and want a change, then for God's sakes, fight for that change and vote for the candidate who's willing to implement it, not talk about it. Aren't you tired of Republican candidates that have a comment about everything? Mm-hmm. Oh my God, everything. They're on social media and they talk about everything. And at the same time, they say nothing. Look for the people that are quiet and look for the people that are focused and look for the people with the proven track record.
That's huge.
And guess what? Most likely you aren't going to find it in Lansing and you aren't going to find it in the political circles. Hard to find. You're going to have to look outside the box, folks. And my question to you, are Republicans ready for that? You may not be, but get what you deserve.
Somebody, yeah. Somebody needs to run with this. I mean, we have to do something. And your plan is, from what from the little you bequeathed to us. It sounds wonderful. I'm like I said, I'm still looking for the missing link there. Me and so
I get it.
Once the missing link is explained to me, I'll wrap my brain around it and it'll make more sense. But
Well,
I'm looking forward to it.
It's the candidate's job to sell it to you. And if candidates don't endorse this program,
Are you giving it to if more than one candidate endorses? Will more than one candidate get to run on it?
I'm gonna go to one candidate first. If they say no, I will go to the next candidate. If they say no, I'll go to the Democratic candidate. And if everybody says no, well, then I'll run on it.
So if the first candidate says yes, you won't go to a second candidate and see if they say yes too?
No.
Why?
Because I'm a citizen, and guess what? It's my program. I've been working on it for 4 years.
But is it more important for you to have your program, or is it more important for this to get out there?
Well, the beauty of it is, if the one candidate that I go to says yes and doesn't win the primary, but the second candidate that I would have gone to does, they can adopt the program if their ego will let them, if they care about the kids.
I would think that would happen. I mean, I guess I would hope that you would go to both of them and say both of you can have it. Would you consider that?
I respect that. I respect.
You know what? Give that a consideration.
On the way home, I got a 45-minute drive. I'll think about it.
Think about that.
I'll think about it.
You know, it's like we. I mean, this is a great. It sounds like it's going to be a great program, and it sounds like it's going to make a difference. I just as soon get it out there where more than one of our candidates can implement it or can start to think on it, as opposed to first come, first serve, and use it or lose it situation.
Remember this, that under this program, and I hate to say on day one, but on day one, a new governor could implement this program. And if they implemented it, within 42 months, all the data shows, been proven in other states, within 42 months, we would have over 85% grade level reading proficiency, on our way to 90% within 48 months. Proven, factual statements. All we got to do is decide we want to do it.
Okay. Nope, I agree. And like I said, I would love to see this program get involved or this program get implemented. I think, like I said, giving it to both your choices and saying, we'd love to see if you win, run. If this guy runs, support it. It's just I feel like just like push it out there a little bit farther. I'd rather have more than one person have it. All right. No disrespect. I agree with Ms. Deb. Okay, thank you. Michelle Blondil. Yes, we need a change. Also, if a Republican runs on it, you can feel more confident that they would implement it. We can't say the same of a Democrat. Michelle, we talked about that a second ago. Kevin feels like there's no way in God's green earth that Jocelyn will run with this, but he believes that Chris Swanson is possible.
Yeah.
But yes, Republicans go first. So on that note, we're talking about your thoughts on Republican. I was talking earlier, and I just think it'll make a great conversation here. What are your thoughts about, I asked you this earlier, what are your thoughts, if you'd share them with, about our Secretary of State and Attorney General? I just wonder if you'd share what you said to me earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. The two best candidates the Republican Party has put up in my lifetime for those two positions. The two best. They have a chance to win. They have a chance to represent the people of Michigan with transparency, with dignity, with honor, with integrity. I know both of these guys, and I'd go to war for them. They are really good candidates, not just for Republicans. See, fair and safe elections should be everybody's goal. Okay? Everybody wants that.
Agreed.
And we get off base when we say, well, the election's already fair. You know what? That means you want a fair election. So everybody agrees we want fair and safe elections. Me personally, I only want, citizens voting. And
Imagine
Tony
that.
Ferlini is the only candidate that understands how elections work. And if you look at Macomb County, the way he audited, the way he uncovered discrepancies that election officials allowed to happen is compelling.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a witch hunt. He's following the rules that we all want. We've got to believe in elections. It's the greatest privilege we have. Doug Lloyd believes in the rule of law.
Boy, does he.
And, you know, Kevin Krasuski was a good opponent for Doug. Simply put, Doug is tougher in that arena. He's gruffer. He might be a little meaner than Kevin. And I respect both of them. But I think Doug is going to be a great attorney general. And we need to rally behind him. You know, for all those people that doubted, vote for Mike Rogers, for God's sakes. We have an opportunity to have a Michigan senator. And you know what? I don't want to hear that he's not perfect. Either are you. Either am I. And do you like Alyssa Slotkin better? You get what you deserve. You can come up with all the excuses, all the reasons why. How about being responsible? You have a right to contribute. Be accountable for it.
Yep.
Mike Rogers is our guy, and let's get him there.
You know, the probably one of the most unintelligent thing I ever hear or ever see when talking about Rogers is there's no difference between him and a Democrat. I'm not voting. And I think my question is always back to them the same. Do you understand the difference between majority and minority and what it means? There is a difference. There's a huge difference. Even if our Republican was anti-gun, pro-abortion, and every other wrong thing, but was Republican, the first vote that guy's going to make, because he's there now, we have majority, he's going to elect a Senate Majority Leader that's going to be Republican. And that Senate Majority Leader is going to set the agenda for the rest of the term in the legislature.
Yeah.
And if it's a Democrat, they're going to vote for a Democrat Senate Minority or Majority Leader. And if we don't have majority, we don't have control. And neither does Trump. And that's what people don't understand. Majority means everything. So it doesn't matter. Mike Rogers will vote for, will help us get majority and will vote for a Republican Majority Leader. And then the issues of pro-abortion or anti-gun will never hit the table. So it will never matter.
Yeah.
It'll never ever come up. So that's what I'm saying. People don't understand that it's getting the most Republicans on the ticket. And then after that, the Republicans have control.
Here's the way I'd put it.
Okay.
We have some candidates that were in elected office. They have a record, a voting record.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And in those election cycles, you have a choice to replace them. So there's scorecards. Mm-hmm. And when we have Republicans that are running for office with a 50% voting record or a 60% voting record for conservative values in Washington, we need to look a little closer at those folks and say, are they real Republicans?
Sure.
Or could we have someone who has stronger conservative values that would serve their district or their state?
Right.
So here's my choice. We know how Alyssa Slotkin's going to vote.
Oh, yeah.
I want to find out how Mike Rogers is going to vote. Prove me wrong. But give the guy a chance, because the alternative is some wacko from the left.
Oh, my God.
That does not help Michigan. And yes, they are wackos.
So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that Mike Rogers is one that's going to vote 60%.
He's going to vote higher than that.
I agree. I said for the sake of argument.
Yeah.
I know better. So
that's better than 100% vote against the other way.
Yes.
And that doesn't make me a rhino.
No,
and that
it doesn't make him a rhino.
That doesn't make him a rhino. You know what? It's all crap.
It is. It's all crap. The word rhino is
it's insulting.
It is rarely used correctly. There are truly Democrats that move into a Republican area and they put an R next to their name so they get elected. That is a rhino. It is not a rhino if you are a Republican because your district is shaky that you sort of vote toward the middle. That is not a rhino. That's somebody that reads their district.
Well, remember, you
It's
were elected
exactly, yeah.
to represent your district.
That's right.
Okay, no question.
And it's you know we had this discussion recently at our EC meeting, and I think a lot of people understand now that when you live in a 51-49 district, you can't go way over here to the right all the time and vote because you'll get voted out. It'll be a Democrat. So it's better to have somebody that's voting 60 or 70% with you and still keeping the R, because again, we saw what happened in 23 and 24 when the Democrats had majority. That was the word, majority, that most people don't understand. It means when they're in total control. That means they get to call all the shots when they're in majority. So we have to have majority, and that means we need all those R's, because it's whoever they elect, the speaker on the House side or the majority leader on the Senate side, they set the stage. They are the ones who allow or don't allow things to come out. So we have to have those be Republicans. So anybody even thinking about not voting for Mike Rogers, stop it. Stop. We have to get him in there. We need majority. Trump needs him in there. If we lose the Senate, we have a majority in the House and we have Trump as president, but we get a Democrat, guess what? Frozen, halt. We can never get anything passed again.
Absolutely.
That's it. We got 4 years
and if we
of
lose in
absolute frozen.
And if we lose in Congress,
oh my God,
we have 2 years of impeachment.
Absolutely.
Because they will impeach
Yep.
Donald Trump again. Yep. It's a fight.
It is.
And
so I don't care who it is. If there's an R next to the name, you vote for him, because you need. No.
You and I are going to fight about that.
Oh wait, let's go at it right now.
Here's the deal. Don't tell me that your reason for voting for them, because I'll tell you something. I voted for Democrats because they were better candidates than Republicans.
Oh God, no.
In my life, I'm going to admit it.
I'm
going to admit it. I voted for John Dingell back in the day because of his stance on the Second Amendment. He was one of the strongest supporters of the Second Amendment and did a lot of good things for his congressional district. Debbie Dingell, John Dingell would divorce her based on how she's turned out. What a disappointment. So you got to be careful with that. Now, vote for a Republican because you know their history. Vote for a Republican and tell me that you're voting for them more than just because they have an R, and I'll respect that. Be able to identify their faults at the same time you can identify their strengths, and I'll respect that.
Sure.
I want Republicans to win, but I am not willing to give up my right to vote for the best candidate.
You get, what was it? You get what you deserve?
Well, you get what you deserve.
But the problem is when you give away the D, when you give away that R, you take a chance of losing majority. And then you do get what you deserve.
Well, Deb, I get it. But the problem is you also have to have people that represent their districts. And you said that earlier.
Sure.
And so remember, I make very nuanced statements. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for.
No.
That's for you to figure out. I'm going to point out characteristics that I think are important that I'm willing to share with you. I'm willing to take the criticism for bringing them up, and I'm willing to take the pat on the back if you agree with it. You know, I'm a candidate. I ran for governor and I lost. And you know why I lost? Because I didn't do a good enough job to convince you. That's the only reason I lost, folks. Nobody else's fault at the end of the day, except mine. Somehow I didn't connect well enough. So I don't pass the buck to anybody else. And I'm asking you to have the same level of respect for yourself and for your vote. All I want you to do is be educated. If you tell me you voted for him simply because I'm voting for any Republican, I think you've given up your right.
Well,
that's my opinion.
You can have your opinion.
And guess what? That doesn't mean you don't vote for every Republican.
But that's the thing. You've given up more. You've given up more than your right when you do that. Well, your choice between your Republican, your choice between your Republican and your other Republican happens in the primary. But once we get beyond the primary, you just finished saying it. You're talking about Mike Rogers, and whatever 50-60%, even if that's what it is.
Well, I'm talking about Mike Rogers. I'll put his record up against any Democrat running.
Sure, but like I said, even if it were 60%,
But what we're having is an educated discussion.
Sure.
We're not having just vote for Mike Rogers because he's a Republican. No, that's not what we're saying. We're actually breaking down Second Amendment, representing Michigan, supporting Donald Trump. Those are all very specific thoughts that the average voter doesn't think about or in many instances even know.
So let me ask you this. If the Democrat running against Mike Rogers had a supportive view on 2A and was more of a middle of the road kind of guy, but was a Democrat, would that, again, you lose majority when you think that way. So when you say, look at the better candidate, except that let's say Mike Rogers had a really, really good middle of the road, a Democrat opponent that we could live with. Just say that we could, but that cost us majority. And the problem is, it's not going to be that really good middle of the road Democrat that's going to call the shots. It's going to be the nut job that gets elected in the Senate majority. And suddenly now we have absolute freeze.
Well, see, I would never vote for the nut job.
I'm just, no. The nut job would be the guy in South Carolina, let's say, that gets elected majority leader.
What did I say?
If we've got a Michigan senator.
My vote for a Michigan senator, if that may get a nut job elected, and I'm going to use in Philadelphia.
Any Democrat would.
I'm going to use Fetterman in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Fetterman's a Democrat.
Okay.
Okay. He's not voting with the Dems.
Okay.
He's not voting with the Dems at all.
Is he in the Senate or in the House?
He's a senator.
Okay.
Yeah, John Fetterman.
Okay.
Bald guy shows up in shorts and a sweat.
Yes.
Okay. Happens to be pro-Israel.
Sure.
Happens to be pro-Second Amendment.
Sure.
Happens to be common sense.
Sure.
Remember this, that John Kennedy would be a conservative Republican in today's world. And he was a president and a Democrat.
Right.
He'd be a conservative
Republican. Go back
Republican.
to Fetterman. Would you vote for him over a Republican?
You know what? In Philadelphia, I might.
Okay.
I would
let's play that out.
I would literally break down the issues.
Let's play that out. And Fetterman now becomes because.
By the way, I thought Fetterman was weird.
Okay.
Until he started voting, and I thought Fetterman was a joke until he actually started saying, "Wait a minute, I'm going to represent my people, but I'm also going to represent my country."
Okay.
And my morals and values.
Okay. So we have established now that John Fetterman is probably closer to our side than we think.
Yeah.
But he still has a D next to his name.
Yeah.
He gets elected. Now the Democrats have majority, and his party now gets to pick the nut job Senate majority leader.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Fetterman. It'll be a nut job.
Yeah.
Now, what does that? I mean, that screwed everybody.
So I'm voting for Fetterman in the primary to make sure he's the rep because the Democrat's going to win in Philadelphia. Republicans aren't beating him.
But we're okay. Go back to Michigan now.
No. But every situation has its nuance. Mike Rogers actually has a chance to win.
Sure.
Okay, and that's different because a Republican going up in Philadelphia doesn't.
Right.
So then it comes down to picking the best Democrat. In this case, we can pick Mike Rogers because he is the best candidate.
Okay.
Look at how hard the man is working.
Right.
Look at the issues that he believes in. And if you get past all the static, he's a really good choice for everyone in Michigan.
You're talking to his hometown.
I get
I
it.
went to school with him, so I understand.
I love the guy.
We are
I love the guy.
absolutely behind him 100%
Yeah.
here. So you don't have to sell him to us.
Yeah.
But I am saying, in the big sense,
Mhm.
though, if I don't care who the R is, if we have one R
Deb, what I'm
and
saying
any
is
D,
be educated.
yes, know who you're voting for,
Be
but you
educated.
still need the R, because you need the R for the Senate majority, or you need the R to elect the speaker. And this
Be
is, by the
educated.
way, this is not for school board. This is not for,
Correct.
this is not for city council.
Correct.
This is for, we're talking in the legislature only. This is state legislature and federal legislature.
Yeah.
You have to do the R. I don't care who it is. Now,
Yeah.
everybody else, I agree. Kevin has a very good point, and maybe that's where our disconnect was.
Well, again,
That was-
I want people educated, and there are Republicans that live in districts that a Republican's not going to win in, and then they need to vote for the better Democrat in that district if a Republican doesn't have a chance. And there's places where Republicans don't have a chance.
True. It's like being Livingston County and
Being a Democrat.
right?
You ain't winning.
No, I get
So
it.
the Democrats need to pick, ideally.
They lots of times they cross over.
Yeah.
Actually, they go the other way. They try to cross over in the primary to get the weaker of them,
Well,
thinking they got a shot.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's also.
I get it.
But yes, so anyway, I love the debates, but I do like how we figured out what we were saying.
Yeah, I
If
don't
you-
encourage anybody to vote for a Democrat.
No, I know you're not.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
So if you're hearing that, again, I'm trying to make you think. I'm trying to stimulate,
You're challenging.
Your
and there's nothing wrong with
participation.
that. Yes.
and maybe every now and then, I even play devil's advocate.
Yeah, you think?
You think?
No, I know. Push it. Here's Kevin. Button.
Every chance I get.
No, that's why we love having you. So, all right. Well, you got anything else you want to share with us before we sign off here?
Do you got any questions you want to ask?
Oh, well, there's good.
50
Yeah, we've
cents
got. On the stage here.
There we are.
We're back. All right. See how quick that was. Anybody have any questions for Kevin? Type them in there. I'm gonna do a quick commercial. We'll be right back, and we'll get to some questions. Okay. So let's do. Hang on. I gotta do this, and then I gotta do. Oh no, I pulled it out. So let's do this one.
Someone once said, "Where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart." What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30 plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing intentionally.
Hi everyone, my name is Christopher Candela. I'm running to be.
What's going on here? Hold on. We got a quick commercial
Judge
we
in
have to do
Livingston
here.
County.
There it is.
I'll get some big yard signs out, and I want to remind you all that tomorrow, Wednesday, we're having an ice cream social at the Livingston County Republican Party Victory Center. So make sure you come on out, show some support, and hope to see you there.
Okay. We didn't have that on. Well, let me get that off of there. We didn't have that on a commercial, so we had to do it that way. So anyway, yep. So, we got comments. Hold on. Back to here. What is your position on a bill lowering the CPL age to 18?
Hi, Jay. How are you? I think this, if you can die for our country at 18, you probably should be able to get a CPL at 18. But I happen to be a constitutional carry guy, so take it a step further. When you are a legal adult, and we need to determine what age a legal adult is, constitutional carry would kick in. I think that there would be things that bingo. Oh, you like
scored,
that?
yes, apparently.
There you go. I'm glad we agree.
We do.
Yeah, it's just that simple. I mean, you can lose your right to carry convicted felon, sex offender, a series of crimes. But yeah, I'm a constitutional carry guy, so that's a simple one for me.
So are you going to run again?
I don't know.
We were shocked. We all thought you were going to make the big announcement this spring.
Well,
what was that about, by the way? You throw this big tease out, May 23rd or whatever it was, March 23rd, there's going to be a big announcement. We all sit and wait.
Ultimately, someone that said they were representing me threw that out. The big announcement wasn't me saying. They were trying to force me to say something.
Oh, tisk tisk.
And that got put out. And candidly, there was a big announcement that night, and that was that we worked on the signatures for U.S. citizen voting only.
Okay.
And my wife and I worked diligently to promote that. Okay. We collected signatures. We went around and explained why it was
good. Thank both of you for that.
Yeah. And so it was a response to someone getting over their skis. And candidly, I'll tell you why I didn't run.
Okay.
And I don't think that with the cost of politics and the cost of being in a campaign, that you should simply run because you want to run. It distracts voters. It can ultimately distract the party. Mm-hmm. So I had heard that Perry Johnson was going to run. And candidly, Perry Johnson has more money than Kevin Rinke. And Perry Johnson and I both believe that a candidate should put forth significance in their own personal money. Okay. And I support Perry for doing that. I know I did it. I support Mike Cox for doing it.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Some of the other candidates that want to operate off other people's money, I don't believe in and I don't support. And it's just a theoretical deal. I grew up, put your money where your mouth is. And I respect Mike Cox for doing that. I respect Perry Johnson for doing that. And I hope you folks out there respected me for doing it. Mm-hmm. But I talked to Perry and I said, Perry, this is how much money I'm going to put forth. And it's no mystery what my agenda is. My agenda is education. My agenda is eliminating the personal income tax. My agenda is auditing the state and getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. My agenda is creating a better business environment to lower the burden on the citizens of Michigan and to attract new people into the state that are taxpayers. And guess what? Perry's and my agendas overlapped. And Perry said that he was going to spend dramatically more money. And we're talking big money, folks.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Millions and millions of dollars. And I said, you know what? Perry and I are going to run on the same things. He's got more money. I'm better looking and a nicer guy.
More humble.
Oh, Lord, it's hard to be humble.
Gosh. You know, we just dated ourselves. Half the people watching.
There you go. You don't even know. No. I'll sing it to you sometime. I'll
Mac Davis for the win.
Exactly. What I'll do is when I'm in the shower, because that's really when I belt it out. Yeah. But anyway, to split voters, to have some people say, oh, even though they're running on the same issues, I like Perry better than Kevin. You know what? That gave another candidate in the Republican Party an advantage. I'm going to make a crazy statement. Garrett Soldano and I have become very, very close since the gubernatorial campaign. Ryan Kelly and I speak often and have become friends. And you know, we sat down one day and Garrett says, Kevin, you'd be governor if Ryan and I hadn't been running against you. And Garrett did all this
because you guys
this numerical data, and it came down to if I would have got 75 to 80% of the votes that were cast their way, I would have beat Tudor in the primary, even with Trump's endorsement.
Sure.
And I had polling that indicated that I beat Gretchen on election day.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, you can argue about the
No,
validity of the polling or all that,
I don't.
but I had
think
polling
you
that
could've.
said I did.
I think you could have.
And so I know this, that had I gotten through the primary, it wouldn't have been the second largest loss in the history of the Republican Party in Michigan. And you get what you vote for.
Right.
Okay?
No, but you're right. The vote that vote.
So
was
I didn't want to
diluted.
spend my money
It was diluted.
against Perry's money when we're running on the same thing
Right.
to help a candidate that I don't think can win statewide.
Right.
So that's why I didn't run.
Okay.
And it's
So are
killing
you
me.
are you open to a lieutenant position if anybody comes knocking?
Oh, I think there's better candidates for lieutenant governor than me.
Well, why don't you? What
But
about naming some of
I
them?
would be open for several positions within governance
Okay.
in
so
Lansing.
just for kicks and giggles, what?
I am very interested in education, and I talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very, very interested in how the DNR impacts the state of Michigan.
Oh my God, we need somebody good.
You know, I'm an avid hunter, an avid fisherman. I respect the environment. I respect the value of our Great Lakes, but I also understand the value of business and the need for our state to be competitive. And, we talk about Lansing. I don't know. When I was a kid, you went fishing. You put a worm on a hook, you threw it in, and you caught something, and you usually ate it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, there's about 200 pages of directions on how to put the worm on the hook. And, if you hooked it in the back, you got to throw it back. Or if you hooked it in the bottom lip, you got to do this. And if you hooked it in, there's so much bureaucratic BS that needs to be eliminated. Deer hunters. God, how stupid is it that if you have private land and you are growing corn on your private land, that's not feeding deer?
No.
If the guy on public land, 10 feet off your property line, puts down a bucket of corn, he's illegally baiting.
Yes.
That's the hypocrisy of some of the rules and the regulations. We only have in Lansing today 8 elected legislatures that have bought hunting and fishing licenses. In the whole legislature. 8.
Really?
8.
Then why is hunting season a national sport? They shut down because it used to be all of them went hunting. Back when I worked there.
God, it was a family event.
Yes.
It was a family event. So
that's how the UK
DNR,
pays their bills before the snow season.
The DNR is very important
Sure.
to how Michigan functions and operates. And right now, I don't think that the DNR functions correctly.
No.
And
No, they
I think that they are anti-hunting, anti-fishing. They are in many
They're
instances,
serious in the land grabs. Holy
oh
cow!
my God! And when they grab
terrible.
land, what do they want to do? They want to put solar farms on them, and they want to put wind farms on them, and that's a department that would interest me.
Okay.
So depending. I'd love to participate. There's nothing in it for me except helping you.
Sure.
And I'm at that stage in life where I love my state. I love the people of Michigan, even the ones with D's on them. I think they're a little wacky, but that's all right. They may think I'm a little wacky. We need
I like
a better
them fine
state.
as long as they're not in majority.
Exactly. Fair enough.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough. So that's the true story, though, that I didn't see that it benefited the Republican
No,
Party.
I get it. I did wonder. I was glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad I thought about it because I
I'm
thought
glad
about
you
it
asked.
earlier. So tell me then, in your opinion, who would give me some ideas? You said there are better people out there for lieutenant governor. Maybe I might argue. What were some of those candidates look like? Throw out half.
Well,
a dozen.
I think a lot depends on who the candidate is.
Okay, just
Okay,
who might
because-
make a good one for who then?
Well, so we've got one candidate running that I don't think is very familiar with how the state works. I don't think they're very familiar with how the federal government works either, but that's just an opinion. And that person would need a stronger Lansing person.
Okay.
Okay.
Such as? Are you talking to Tom Leonard here? Are you talking? Just give us some. People here don't know you, and they don't know what you're thinking. So give some, like, paint a picture here.
Yeah.
Just not recommending, just suggesting.
I think that.
For instance.
I think that Tom Leonard appears to be auditioning for a job.
Okay.
I think that Eric Nesbitt knows he can't win the governor's seat and is actually auditioning for a job.
Okay.
And no disrespect to
No,
Eric.
no.
His numbers just don't prove it. He's a wonderful man.
God,
he's a good father. I respect that he's there, but at some point you got to say, I don't think I'm going to win. And you can't just ignore the polling. And I have seen nothing that would indicate,
Okay.
I think that so much depends on the ego of the governor candidate. Will they be threatened by someone who is active, or do they want someone simply to be complacent?
Yeah.
I challenge, most people can't name who Gretchen Whitmer's lieutenant governor is. Okay.
It's because he's got I said it earlier, he's got the personality of what cardboard?
Well, but okay, who was Jennifer Granholm's lieutenant governor?
Oh, Cherry, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It was Cherry, wasn't it?
What did they
John
ever
Cherry
do?
from Flint.
What did they ever do? Nothing. In
my world, I worked in the Senate at the time, so he presided over the Senate. That's the only reason I knew.
Okay, and I don't know if they did that well. So much depends on what Michigan wants.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if you believe that Michigan needs foundational change, then you need not only an active governor who is going to have strengths in certain areas, and they need to apply those strengths to the role. And if those strengths leave openings that a traditional governor might cover, maybe you need a lieutenant governor that can step up and do some of those traditional governor roles.
Right.
Because that's their strength.
Right.
And that's how you get change. Otherwise, you're just voting for the establishment.
Yes.
And I don't think that's the case. I think Michigan needs foundational and structural change. I think they need it in education.
They need it in everything.
I think they need it in the business climate.
Yep.
I think they need it in taxation.
They need it in LARA. They need the regulations.
Absolutely.
Business regulations are crazy.
Yeah. Almost $100,000.
Ag.
Almost $100,000 in LARA regulations to build a house today.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. And then MDARD, all the agricultural, that might be a great place for Eric if he doesn't win. He does drop church. Department of Ad. Oh my God, he'd be great.
I think that we're lucky because Eric's got some skill sets.
He's got a lot of skills.
And he's a good man. I just don't think he's ready for governor.
Yeah.
It's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's not like you're inhibiting him.
No. You know what?
Either he does or he doesn't.
Please watch the interview that he did on my podcast on Beyond the Echo. I've interviewed all of the candidates except John James.
Mm-hmm.
John refuses to answer. I even offered to give John the questions. And we are not a live show. We are a tape show. That the candidates can say, I don't want you running that. John James refused to come on, even having the questions in advance. That's concerning to me. That's very concerning to me. And he's the only one that won't come on. I've got Chris Swanson, who we're scheduling, a Democrat, to come on the show, willing to talk to the people of Michigan. Jocelyn Benson won't respond. That's concerning to me. And see, I want to know how people are going to govern, even if they're not the person that I support.
Right.
And I want you to know and understand before you cast your vote. And any candidate that is afraid to honestly say what they believe in and what they see for the state of Michigan, And my show gets pretty darn good
Right.
viewership. I mean,
Yep.
every single candidate interview has over 500,000 views.
Oh, wow.
Every single one that I've done.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Not great.
That is really big. That's
but
good.
pretty good.
Yes.
So I think it's a way to talk to the people of Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And you deserve that. That's why I call it
I
Beyond
agree.
the Echo. You decide.
I have had everybody but Perry and John. John, I just ran into him recently in Kent County, and because I told him, he said hi, and I said, look, I have asked you 1,100 times to be on the podcast, and I'm never getting responses from whoever I'm talking to. And he introduced me to a young lady who said, that's my comms director. That's who you got to schedule with. So I've got her card, and I'm going to reach out and hopefully.
And she'll say John's out doing the business and serving the people of Michigan.
Here's the deal. This is a red county.
Yeah.
And this is a county that makes this. I mean, lots of times we tip the scale here, and I am more than happy to bring any Republican in here, and I've had everybody except them.
Yeah.
Doug Lloyd announced on my show. That
Did he
was
really?
Oh
Good
yeah,
for Doug.
yeah. It was.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's been terrific having all the candidates here. I've had all of them except for Perry and John, so I'm hoping to get both of them out here. Love to do it.
It was funny. The first time that I met Doug Lloyd, I was standing next to him having a conversation. I didn't even know who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't even know he was running.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm watching another Kevin Krasuski give a speech.
Kiewski.
Or Kiewski.
Yeah. I'm Polish. I get.
Okay.
I understand. I understand these names.
I'm German, French, Irish.
Okay.
And, yeah. So anyway, we had the nicest darn conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and about 3 days later, I see a picture. I'm like, he never even told me he was running, that guy,
He's a very humble guy, and I
Yes,
will
he
tell you,
is.
if you look at his first interview, because
He's great.
It was the first interview he did. He announced on the show right here, and afterwards, he was here with our prosecutor who recommended him, and the three of us sat in that room in there, and he was asking me questions about running, and he kind of asked me, like asking you, what do you think? I don't know about you, but I always come back with, you got to know who you ask, because I'm going to tell you.
Right.
And I bet he took home, he says he had these great big napkins out there, and he's writing notes on the napkins, and he took home 5 napkins. He says he still have them.
Yeah.
But I felt bad because I've got a pad of paper, and so does Carolyn, and he's writing on napkins. I didn't think about it until later, I told him so after he won on a Saturday. That next Tuesday he was back here. I said, look, you announced here, at least you should be able to do is announce your win, right? So he came here again. We had a big reception here for him and everything. People came and met him and congratulated him. But
how come you didn't invite me?
I did. I invited everybody.
Didn't invite me.
I put it everywhere. I put it out. It's out. So all right. From now on, I will text you personally. But
I hope so.
It was great. But the difference and he told me, he said, it's going to be a different interview. He goes, I was so nervous that first one, and he goes, and we laughed, and he was, anyway, it was such a difference in his personality coming out. The nervousness was gone and the confidence was there, and we were still high on the win, and so it was terrific. I really like Doug, and I love Anthony. I mean, Anthony's got that personality. He comes around a corner 5 minutes before the rest of them does.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh my gosh. And he picks those two go at it, and
Of
it's
course.
hysterical. Doug's up speaking at Kent County, and Anthony's next, so he's sort of walking by, and I guess he walked by and made a face. Doug, right in the middle of the speech, stops and goes, Ferlini, are you really messing with me now? Anthony comes up and he goes, Doug Lloyd, with the funeral voice. It's like, oh my God.
You gotta have fun.
It is. All right,
Anyhow.
well, we're gonna leave it here,
Yeah.
and
Thanks, Livingston County.
Oh,
I appreciate the opportunity to
you
talk
are
to
welcome
you.
to come back anytime. We just love having you here, and we love your opinion. So when sometime after the primary, when we've got things narrowed down, we're gonna bring you back here again, and we're gonna kind of talk a little bit more about your plan, because by then you'll have picked a magic winner. And on who's gonna get your plan and who's gonna run it. So
Well, ultimately, it's open for anybody.
right,
I hope that a Republican's the one that adopts it
right.
and implements it. and it's a win for them. But more importantly, it's a win for
the
our state.
kids. We
and the
need it
kids.
badly. You're right. We absolutely need it badly.
Yeah, I'll look forward to sharing more.
All right.
And again, appreciate the time, everybody. Take care.
All
Thank
right.
you
Welcome to the right side.
And with me now is the brand new 7th District Chair, District 3, Livingston County Commissioner, Frank Sample. So welcome, Frank.
You're very active in the American Legion.
Correct.
You're very active in the VFWs.
This ideology is very damaging to the students who are told if you get this surgery and make do the social transition, the medical transition, then you'll be happy and all your problems will be
Yes,
solved. Learned so much.
I'll bet. That's some institutional knowledge right there.
And we have, as a special guest, as I said earlier, we have Kevin Reiki with us. Welcome, Kevin. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Go Boge. Thanks, Kelly.
There are
no shortage.
We love meeting new people.
Right, yes.
It's in good shape, so that's good news.
That safeness is not afforded to every citizen. They are special.
There's a difference between men and women. There's a biological difference, and it's time for us to stand up for our girls.
He went through, and he came back with a report said there's no way Detroit can meet its obligations on the tax base.
Yes.
So is this DEI focused just on the high school, or are they talking about all
district, the entire district?
Maybe that's kind of normal. It's really not. There tends to be little fiefdoms with, different police agencies and police versus fire and fire versus EMS and blah, blah, blah. That's not the case here. So Livingston County is very fortunate.
Hey, not too long ago, in many of our lifetimes, Detroit was the 3rd largest city in America.
Oh, yeah.
3.2 million citizens.
It's been a great experience. I mean, I have no regrets about moving here.
There's an old saying that the road will get you elected, the jail will get you unelected. So, give you an idea.
You have to have a reason to change for change to be enacted.
All rise for this week's Judicial Minute with Christopher Candela.
Hi everyone, I'm Christopher Candela, and I'm running to be your next Circuit Court Judge here in Livingston County. As an avid outdoorsman, this week we're talking about major changes to Michigan's hunting laws, recently approved by the Michigan Natural Resources Commission. Starting this year, the limited firearm zone is gone. Hunters in the Lower Peninsula can now use legal rifles, including bottleneck cartridges, statewide during the firearm season. Then in 2027, the new $1 rule takes effect, limiting most hunters to $1 per season. A pilot Earn a Buck program may also allow some hunters to harvest a second buck with 4 points or more. For a full breakdown, visit the news and events section on my website at CandelaForJudge.com. And remember, vote Candela for Circuit Court Judge in the August 4th primary.
Tune in next week for another Judicial Minute with Christopher Candela.
I'm an attorney who goes to work every day to fight for our community and defend our Constitution. My name is Christina Like, and now I want to be your next Circuit Court Judge. And that means ensuring our constitutional rights are protected, protecting the innocent lives of our children, making decisions based upon rule of law and not politics, making court more affordable, and always placing the people first.
Someone once said, where your treasure goes, there also will be your heart. What kind of world do you want to invest in? Do your investments fund industries that tempt people to harm relationships? What if you could be more intentional with your money? What if your investments built content that enriched others' minds? Jason Huntley, CFP, has been guiding families for 30 plus years to plan, invest, and build for the next generation. Scan the QR code now to make that first step to investing intentionally.
Why should you join the Livingston County Republican Party?
Why, you ask?
Yeah, why?
Why join?
The Republican Party is the party of common sense.
Common sense.
Republicans support the Constitution.
Republicans protect your rights.
We fight to keep your children safe.
We fight to keep boys and men out of girls and women's sports.
We fight to keep boys out of girls' restrooms.
We fight for you.
What does the Republican Party do?
We help Republican candidates get elected.
Why is it important to elect Republicans?
Why is that important?
Why? Tell me, why is that important?
Livingston County is one of the safest counties in Michigan.
Livingston County has one of the lowest crime rates in the state of Michigan.
Livingston County has the lowest tax millage rate of all 83 counties.
Republicans work to balance the budget.
Republican legislators vote against raising your taxes.
Republican elected officials believe in transparency.
Republican clerks run elections with integrity.
Republican trustees protect your rights.
Republicans support our veterans.
Who can join?
If you are conservative, we want you in our party.
All conservatives are welcome at our table.
Join our activities.
Join the fun.
Become a member.
Join us now.
Hi, I'm Deb Drick, Chair of Livingston County Republican Party. Our conservative message has been very well received in Livingston County, and I'm so happy to share with you that people are stepping up right and left to help. The only thing's missing is you. Come join our mission. Come join our fun. Go to livingstonrepublicans.com and click join. You'll be glad you did. And we're back, and I'm bringing on our good friend, Ralph Rebant. Hi, Ralph. Welcome.
Thanks. Good to see you, Deb. How's everything going tonight?
Everything's going great. Kevin was chatty, as we both knew he would. He said to say hi to you.
Back at you, Kevin, if you're watching.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun, of course, covered a lot of ground. He's got a lot of ideas and love talking to him. But it was great. So let's talk about you. You've had some disappointing news here recently that they apparently the Board of Canvassers took a sample canvassers, and that's a word that just doesn't roll off the tongue. I don't think we use it enough, but they had
Right.
I guess they took a sample and decided that the sample they used, they were going to apply it to the whole thing, and said therefore it was a failure. And you're disagreeing, I'm understanding. So walk us through that process.
Well, actually, it starts with getting over 20,000 signatures to turn in. And our team probably spent 5, maybe 6 days, not in a row, but if you add them all up, going through the signatures as they were coming in. We crossed out lines that we thought Secretary of State wouldn't approve, looking for the basic things like dates. Somebody puts their birthday down versus the date of signing, wrong county, just those typical things. And then we spot checked people in the counties. If there was a city or an address or something that looked a little skewed, we would do some research on it to make sure somebody actually lived there and it wasn't an empty lot or something. And so we crossed out about 2,000 signatures and didn't turn in a bunch of pages. So I'm confident that we have more than 15,000 good signatures. The problem is, as you just identified, the sampling that they didn't hit the good ones that we have. Now, what we have done is we've done research on the signatures that they are saying are invalid, and we're making a presentation on Thursday that a good number of them are. And I believe the Board of Canvassers will agree with us because we've done our homework and we're excited about it.
So this is Thursday, so we're gonna try and get you on next week to you can go over the results with us. Are they gonna tell you on the spot? Do they rule then, or do they think about it?
I don't know what they do. I really don't know what they're going to do. I don't even remember what they did with Perry, Michael Markey, Chief Craig, and Donna Brandenburg. I don't remember how they did it last time. But, the crazy thing is, last time we did the same thing. We turned in about 18,000, I think 500, maybe a couple hundred more than we did this time. And we combed through everything last time. And then what happened, though, is in 2023, they changed their rules and again, I don't know who has the authority to change the rules to simply say, we're going to just take a sampling of 750 signatures. I don't know who gave them the authority to do that, but we're playing by their rules and we're going to demonstrate that our signatures are valid.
Okay. All right. And when you said you did it last time, was it challenged last time, or did you?
Not at all. No.
Not at all. Okay. All right. So
that's why we're shocked, because as I said, we combed through them really closely. We were up till like 2 and 3 in the morning a couple nights before they were due, taking care of the ones that were coming in late, or not late, but that we wanted to turn in. So we're pretty confident. We'll see how it goes, but we're trusting the Lord.
Example of some of the stuff that they complained about, but you've they say this, but you realize X.
You'd like an example? You said I didn't hear what you said.
If you can give me an example.
Sure. There are some people like one fellow, and this isn't his real name. I'll just change it for, but his signature was T Jones, T period Jones.
Right.
His printing was T period Jones. So they dinged the signature because it doesn't look like a handwritten cursive signature. Well, my guess is that's how he signs his name. And so we're checking that against the local. We want to check those against the local clerks. But those are the kind of things. But there was one where it said that the circulator was out of state. The circulator wasn't out of state. They were looking for the box to be checked, and if they're out of state, they got to check that box in the lower level. And they were in state. So there's just a lot of anomalies. And I think out of the 214 that they said were bad, when I was going through them, I found maybe 20, 25 that I would agree with them on. And a lot of the others, anyway, enough said. We're just, we'll wait and see, but we've got it outlined very clearly.
And what time does this, is your hearing, I guess is the word?
Well, it's at 10 o'clock on Thursday morning.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll all be watching. We'll be watching for the news and obviously praying for you. But I'm curious as to whether they're gonna. I guess I'm curious. Well, I know you and I had tentatively discussed dates coming back, but I think we should probably put that. Let's just set it on hold until you get a result, because other than that, we're going to be talking about this again. Geez.
Right. Exactly.
So let's figure. So when you do get a result, please text me and let me know, and we'll schedule something right on the spot.
That sounds great, Deb. I'd love to do that. Thank you.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, all right. Well, good luck to you, and we're all cheering for you. That's a rugged thing to do, to go through all that, and then
it is. It really is. So we'll see.
Well, we never get things that we can't handle, right? We're never given something that we're not able to handle. So, all right. Yeah. Well, you have a great night, Ralph, and good luck on Thursday. We'll all be watching the news for you, but I'll be watching my phone for that text.
All right. I appreciate it. Thanks, Deb.
All right. See ya. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Whoops. Okay, here we go. So that was for those of you, to go through all that stuff and then not even be able to get it on. I mean, he got more than he was supposed to, right? And but anyway, so they're figuring it out, and he'll make his case, and the best that'll work. So chat with the chair, a couple things coming up. Tomorrow here, Christopher Candela, you saw his commercial, or they paid for a commercial. So I'm playing it and playing this. So here at the Victory Center from 5 to 8 p.m. tomorrow, ice cream for any size donation. That goes here. Let me make this bigger so you can see it. That goes for Christopher Candela for Circuit Court Judge. He's a member, one of 2 Circuit Court judges who are a member. So Christina Like would be the other one. And we're, just so you know, there are 2 Republicans in that, so please consider that as you vote for your judge, vote for one or the other of them. But he's having a fundraiser here, and right here at the Victory Center, so you can anyway take a screenshot of this if you want. Oops, wait till the bottom. I'll have to freeze. There you go, across the bottom there. Take a screenshot, and then, if you're willing to come meet them, come talk to them, make your decision. Christine will have something, and then go to hers, meet hers too. And then, but anyway, this is here tomorrow. Any size donation, ice cream sundae. So, oops, hang on. Now I got to get me back on here. Stage. Okay. So wait, let me get this up. Poop. Okay. The technical stuff still goes. So Mark says you can be praying about Thursday. Like I said, we're always what's supposed to happen will happen. So I just the wisdom's there that I don't have, but I can understand Ralph. That has to really stink, to put all that time in it. So what else we got coming up? We got Remember, no June EC meeting. Okay, no June EC meeting. We always take a month off in the summer. We've got, and the reason we're not doing a June EC meeting is because we've got Brian Ignatowski is his June 10th fundraiser over at the Wilson Estates in Stockbridge. That's $100 a person. I cannot stress how important this is, whether you live in his district or not. This is not his district is, he's got three of the northern townships in Washtenaw County. He's got Waterloo Township in Jackson, which is in the corner there. And then he's got Putnam Putnam and Pinckney and Genoa here. So in Livingston County. So that is a mixed bag of tricks there. But what's important about this, we were talking earlier, and I was really stressing the word majority. That is a Democrat held seat, and it is winnable. It is winnable. But I know you get probably tired of hearing this. It takes money to win, but it takes money to win. That's just the reality of it. You don't win unless you do mailings. You don't win unless you have literature to do door knocking with. You don't win unless you're sending people information, on their absentee ballot nights. You don't win unless you can buy signs. Those big signs, they're $100 a piece, $125 a piece. Then you got to buy the metal stakes. So these things campaigns are expensive, and that's why you and I and everybody else don't do it all at the same time. So this is how you do. This is how they raise their money to kind of push them through. So June 10th is Brian Ignatowski's. Whether you are in his district or not, if you have it in your campaign budget, or even if you don't have it in your campaign budget, please scrape up $100 and come to this. Number one, it's going to be a great time. It's at a beautiful winery, and it will. But we need to flip this seat. This is not holding on to a Democrat seat. This is not a Democrat area that he'll win no matter what. No, this has been lost to a Republican twice. But the last time Brian did it, he came in kind of in the 11th hour. There wasn't a candidate available. He jumped in and worked. He came pretty close and being outspent like crazy. He didn't have a lot of money. He just worked, and he still came close. He jumped in way earlier this time, and he's been working it. His name's getting out there. He has his name recognition from last year. And so the one thing he needs to do is he needs to be able to put some more money into this. So the party is really getting behind him. He is the Livingston County Republican Party's number one priority this year for our county. We have to flip. This is a flipped seat. It's a Democrat that's held it the last two elections. It's a newly created one under the redistricting. She's held it twice. We need to make her go bye-bye. She's terrible. She votes against everything we believe in. She's not one. If I brought her name up to Kevin, and Kevin could say the same thing about her as he would say about Jocelyn. No, we cannot have her in there. So Brian Ignatowski is our guy. We need to get him in there. And so this is how we do it. So even if you're not in the district, please, please, please scrape up $100. June 10th. It's a Wednesday night. I want to say 5:30 to 8 or something like that. There's a flyer on the Livingston County Republican Party's page. It's got a QR code that you can make the payment, or there will be I'll be putting an updated flyer out there tomorrow morning. So check the party page out, and you can do you can sign on that way. But please come. You can RSVP. You can always, the same email I say every time, chair@livingstonrepublicans.com. And we really, really, really need you there. We need everybody, even if you're not in the district. Please, please, please. This is going to help Michigan. We need to flip that. We need to make that. That is going to be a Republican representing Washtenaw County. Hello, that is great. And also, it helps carve the corner of Jackson, which is now Jackson County, which is now being represented by a Dem. So I cannot tell you how for 100 years, I have been able to tell people Livingston County, every partisan elected position is Republican. And the only Democrats elected are the ones that are under nonpartisan bills. So I hate the fact that I can't say that right now, because we have Jennifer Conlon representing us in the 48th, and I hate it. I just hate it. I hate not being able to say we have all Republicans. So we have all Republicans except this one. And anyway, we need to get Brian in there. So that seat needs to go. It needs to go. It needs to flip. We need to add one more member to the House to make sure we have majority, because that means a majority. That means a Republican speaker of the House. And remember, it's the speaker that controls everything in the House. And so we really need that to be a Republican. No more Dems. What else is coming up? July 8th is our big fundraiser. Same exact winery, FYI. Same exact $100, but we're going to spend it differently. We're having a big fundraiser for Doug Lloyd and Tony Ferlini, and it's $50 to each candidate. You can bring 2 checks that night. We'll be doing. I'm waiting. I just got Tony's QR code today. I'm waiting on Doug's. Nick, if you're watching, Doug, if you're watching, get me that QR code, please. And we'll get it out there. $50 to each candidate, and come. Same winery, beautiful winery in Stockbridge, Michigan. And we're going to have, we're going to have hors d'oeuvres, etc. We've got 10 or 11 either county parties or district parties congressional districts that are supporting this. So we really need everybody out there. We really need this to be jam-packed. I don't know if you know it, that when these guys run and they come to convention where they get elected, do you know how much money they spent? I was told they had to give 10 grand to MRP just to be able to participate. Then there's money for booths, or money for, they had to pay extra to put literature on chairs. Then they have these parties, these receptions the night before, so everybody can come and meet. Those things cost a fortune. I gotta believe it's somewhere between 20 and 40,000. And so here they are. They win the convention and they're broke. So they got to start all over with fundraising. So they're fundraising now, and to win in November, and we have to help them. So again, that's another. So if you don't, $200 there. So I want to say happy birthday to Marcy Griswitz. I don't know if I'm saying that right. She's a Senate candidate that I really, really have gotten to know, and I really like her. She's out of the Downriver area, and she's a Republican. She's going to be a strong candidate. I'm really looking forward to watching the results of her race. It's her birthday today. If you go to her Facebook page, she's got a little QR code. Happy birthday to me. Please donate, which is brilliant. So happy birthday to her. And like I said, it's Marcy, Marcie for Senate, and it's I don't know if she has any vowels in her last name, GRZYZZ something. But anyway, she's a great candidate, and she's going to make a great senator. So I'm looking forward to watching her. What else is going on? We have what about you guys? It's been quiet all of a sudden. All my comments dried up. Joni, are you watching? You never comment. I thought I fixed your phone so we can see your comments. If you're watching and you've texted, or if you've posted and I haven't got it, text me and tell me that. So I had to go into Joni's. I looked the next day at the comments, and Joni's always saying, "Hi, I'm here," and I never see her there. So I finally got her phone. I said, I think something's wrong with your. So I look. Oh, she is watching, and she posted. Okay. Well, you never told me I fixed your phone. I got looking because she would post, and so I went to her phone and I changed everything so she could do it. Look at all these questions coming in. So Joni's watching. Good. I'm glad we fixed that situation. Seems like everybody left when Ralph came in. No, that is not true. I am the Long Report Show. I don't think so. The numbers that show up here, we've got this playing on 4 different places. And so the small little bitty numbers that you see here are not the total viewership. That's just from one internal little place. So hi, Curtis Clark. How are you? So anyway, so yes, what's going on? And it's so good to see Joni. This lady we've been praying about, and she went and had, I'd never seen anything like this before. She has open heart surgery on Friday and comes home Tuesday. Who does that? But I mean, let's take it better. She runs, she's the head, she chairs my Lincoln Day dinner on Tuesday. On Friday, she's on open heart surgery, and the next Tuesday she's home. Okay, we should all be. And now she's got a double bypass, and she's got these brand new arteries. I keep telling her she's gonna live till 200 now. So that's good for her. We're just thrilled that we're thrilled that she made it through that and with her typical vim and vigor and energy. So anyway, so what else is going on? What else is happening? So we do have some interesting conversations with Kevin. Gosh, I do love his bluntness. I mean, those of you know me, that shouldn't surprise you, but I do like his bluntness about things. Some, I agree with him a lot of stuff. I disagree with some stuff, but that's what's great about Kevin. You can disagree and still walk away just fine. But I really would like. I'm really looking forward to hearing his. I'm really looking forward to hear more about his educational plan. That he just sort of gave us a teaser and then dumped the meat. It's like, wait a minute, where's the beef here? And so we got all the tomatoes and lettuce. But I'm going to be watching, and I want to get him back here right after the election. So hold on here. Are you watching? Don't you text me that stuff unless you're watching. You post on here that you're watching, and then we'll talk about that. Chris Long is texting me. So where was I? Stop this. You just threw me. What was I saying about Kevin? Oh yeah, I'm gonna get him right here back after the primary because I want to hear the rest of his plan. I think it'd be interesting to have Kevin in the Kevin in Washington, or not Washington, Kevin in Lansing somewhere. Kevin running the MDE, Kevin running the, MDARD. No, not MDARD. That's who I thought. I mean, frankly, I love Eric Nesbitt. If he wins, great. And if he doesn't, I think that he would be great for MDARD, for the agricultural department. I mean, he could run that and, coming from a farmer's perspective. So anyway, but, the Long Report Show. Oh, that's who it is. The Long, that's Chris Long. All right. Chris wants me to play. Chris, can you post that here or do I have to go get it? It's going to take me forever to find it. If you could post it here. If you could post it, I'll play it. Can you put a link to it in the comment? And then I'll play it. For those of you who haven't seen it, Chris Long is the vice chair for the Michigan of grassroots for the Michigan Republican Party. And we were talking, Chris, were you watching the whole show? I don't know if you were or not, but Kevin Rinke and I were talking about that. He really liked it. He said, and Anthony Hudson was on here too, and we gave him a shout out for his starring role. Okay, he'll post it in a second. So anyway, he made a parody of Mike Cox using the double entendre of Mike's last name. And he used this is, whether you think it's funny or not, I had to watch it a couple times. The first time I watched it, I think I was more scared than finding it humorous. But the more I watched it, it was kind of like Holy Grail, Monty Python, the Holy Grail. Like the more you watch it, you find stuff that you didn't see the first time. So it was pretty bizarre. But anyway, I know that, his response so far has been, for the most part, has been funny. He's had a couple of people that have, thought it's not their humor. And frankly, it's not my humor either. But I mean, I kind of from a distance watched it, and I was, like I said, I was more scared the first time because I didn't know what was happening, but it was, as soon as he posts it, I'll play it. But yeah, yeah, it's an interesting one. So, as soon as he gives me the links. So, anyway, but yeah, that's, we're coming down to it, even though this is the end of May. The next time I see you here, it'll be June. And I cannot deal. I just cannot deal. I don't know what happened, but, we're going to do a remote broadcast next week because I will not be able to come down here. We won't be here next week. So, we'll do a remote one yet. I was going to do it with Ralph. He was supposed to tell me the results, but it just dawned on me they may not give it to him right then. So if it comes in, then we'll do Ralph. If not, then I'll have somebody else. But Yeah, I'm looking forward. I know I also got notified by Tom Barrett's people today that he's going to come on the podcast sometime on June. So it'll be somewhere probably the middle of June. So I'm looking forward to that. I haven't had him on the podcast in a while. Let's see, what else? Chris, it's posted. It's not posted. Posted here. Where did you post it? He just texted me that he'll post it. I don't see it. Am I missing it? Post it in the comment here, like to the podcast. Because I see nothing. Anyway, so I did 5 times. Well, did you do it under the long report show or under your name? Because there's nothing here. Go here and come back. No. The last thing that's said, posted here is I'll post it 1 second. Huh. Well, can you email it to me? Of course, I don't know. Here, let's see if we can do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Hold on. Let's see if I can share the screen. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay. Hang on. Oh, wait, no, that was a picture. Hold on. Here we go. Here we go. All right, let's get this up, and then I'm gonna... Hold on. Hold on. Oh my God, stop. All right, let me get, hang on, I'll share the screen. Share screen. Right here. Share. Okay. This is not what it is not.
And honestly, a little blue.
Back when Mike Cox was Attorney General, criminals were terrified of Cox. These days, everything feels soft.
Too soft. Like that Johnson.
I miss waking up every morning knowing Michigan had Cox protecting it.
Damn right.
Lord, the state needs help. I pray for Cox every single day, sometimes twice on Sundays. Strong leadership, law and order, lower taxes, that's Cox right there. And if we don't get Cox back in Lansing soon, we're all going to suffer.
Damn. Where's my tractor? Michon! Where's my Cox mug? That's better.
Vote for Cox? Why not?
Where's my Bible?
Oh, it's better. That's better. I'll finally vote yes on something. Vote for Cox.
Vote for Cox.
Vote for Cox. Wait, where's John?
I wouldn't fly with him. He always loses statewide. And he never shows up.
Yeah.
You better not put kill switches in my tractor.
When I ran statewide, I got beat by Peters. But when Cox ran, he beat Peters.
Yeah, I'm voting for Cox. Why not?
I lost twice statewide. But Cox won twice statewide. We all need to fly with Mike Cox.
Yeah, I'm voting for Cox. Why not?
Why not?
We love Cox.
Vote for Cox.
And if you support Cox today,
We'll send you a commemorative cocksucker. Why not? Michon, I want a cocksucker.
If Cox wins their primary, we're screwed. I don't like Cox. This has gone way too far. Can you stop it? No. We planned for the easy. We prepared for Duggan and James. And now there's this much Cox on everywhere. Cox. People seem to really love Cox. Come on, girls. We gotta win this for Cox. We love Cox. He's going to lower taxes and fix education. We need Cox.
Sweet Lord. This thing's gotten bigger than all of us.
What the hell? More AI shit from Chris? Cox all the way.
How about we get Johnson suckers prepared?
No. We're going to need more money
Call
from Perry.
John.
Brandon, you better make a post and go after Chris. That's it. I'm calling John. We love Cox. He's going to lower tax and fix education. We need Cox.
I'm Mike Cox, and I had absolutely nothing to do with this video. However, I am the only one running who's beaten Democrats statewide. Just saying. This is an AI-generated political ad not paid for by any candidate or candidate committee, not authorized by Mike Cox. This parody is for entertainment purposes only, created by Chris Long.
For 20 long.
Oh my God. Hang on, let me get out of here. Where is this? There. Well, anyway, it was, yeah, we've all watched. Hang on, let's see. Oh, look at the comments all of a sudden. Here we go. Yes, you're the best. Yes, I am. Awesome video. I might have changed my mind about people in the video because of this video. It is Chris Long is our favorite state vice chair. I've watched this video a million times. It cracks me up every time. Yeah, so yeah, it is anyway, like I said, and Chris will tell you, I basically, why is that stuck there? Oh, hide there. That's because I had that on there. So, I told Chris, I said, oh my God, you're going to get your butt whipped. I was so worried for him, but he did put that little tag on the end, and that made me feel better when, Mike had, I had nothing to do with this, but I love the, but I was the only candidate to win statewide twice, just saying. I love that. But whatever you did, the AI of Mike's eyes when he's looking at his phone and his, the way his eyes just went, you had his eyebrows shoot up. It was perfect. And the way he said, just saying, that is exactly how Mike would say it. So kudos to, whether you think it's funny or not, kudos to whoever did the actual work on that video. It was long, but it was funny. So anyway, yeah. And I some of the candidates think it's, even Anthony, I think, posted on his page that, he didn't like Chris, but the video, even though he didn't like Chris, the video was really funny. So he was being a good sport about it. Kevin commended him tonight on his starring role. So his leadoff, I told him he was the leadoff batter on that one. So anyway, so this was I don't think we have anything more coming up unless you guys come up something. We're going to have to come up with a Reagan Day here in the fall. That's going to be probably September. We've got, the events in July and June. June 22nd. Oh, am I glad I thought of that. June 22nd. Let me look this up. There's one more event that I'm going to be pushing. Let me get it here. It is. Let's see. It is. Nope. No, Judge, I have to get the thing. Judge Michael Warren is having an event on June 22nd. So put that on your agenda. Next week when I come here, I will have Bob, you crack me up. God. Stop that. Stop that. We have comments in here. Bob apparently does not approve of Anthony. So, anyway, I was going to say you shouldn't pick on another Republican here, but I forgot. Anthony's not a Republican anymore. Hey, how about it? He's a libertarian. He left us. All right. So Yeah, Mark says that he's been an activist in the Republican Party for 20 years, and Chris is the most crazy person he's ever met in this. Well, I think you are absolutely correct, and I think that is, I think that's true for most of us, Mark. So, anyway, so yeah, it is. What was I saying? Gosh, I hate when that happens. I get a funny comment, and it's my age. 22nd, Judge Michael Warren. I'll be next week. We'll have more information on that. There'll be an event out here for him. He's another one that's our Supreme Court and our state Supreme Court, and we need it. Or is it district appellate court? Oh crap, I don't remember now. But anyway, Judge Michael Warren is a great guy. I just bought Jay just finished his book. I bought Jay the book, his book about the line by line analysis of the Declaration of Independence. So if you haven't read that book, go find it. It's a good one. So, all right. Well, I will. I'm gonna call it off here. We got a little longer than we normally do, but that's been okay because it's been a fun night. So we're next week again remote, but we'll still have it. I have to figure out what I'm gonna do as far as having a guest. I'm not sure who it's going to be. Like I said, I was planning on being Ralph, but we might do. I know coming in the future, I've got Tom Barrett. Coming in the future, I have Gina Johnson, who's got a boatload of bills. My gosh, that woman's got bills. And we're going to talk about them. She's got education stuff. She's got some oversight reforms. She's got some education where it's the sex ed stuff. She's tackling the tough stuff there. And so she's going to be on. She's going to talk about some of this bills. I was just talking to her last night about some of the bills. So she's going to be the ones. Let me know, chair at Livingston Republicans with an S.com. Let me know who you want to see on here. Like I said, I am going to be writing. John James gave me his comms person. I've reached out to Sean to get Perry here. Hopefully we'll get him here one day. So, I mean, Livingston County is, it's a super Democrat, super Democrat. I'm sorry, super low Democrat, super Republican area. So anyway, so that'll be good. We don't need to type that. They got that. Okay. So it's all right. That's there. So we'll put it now that it's there. There it is right there. If you need it, if you haven't got it by now, reach out. Let me know who we should have on the what kind of stuff you want to see, what kind of stuff you want to talk. If you have something you want to come talk about, let me know. So I know I've got some. We've got a new supervisor in Howell Township, a more recent supervisor out there, Rob, and he's running now unopposed. So that means the job is his. And so I'm going to get him on here. I'm planning on getting him here over the summer, to see what he's thinking. I let him get, kind of adjusted a little bit, acclimated. But from all things I've seen, he's doing a good job. He's got a very diverse group there, and they've got opinions, left and right and up and down. So, that is not an easy thing to do, to navigate that. So, let's see what else is coming up. Personally, Jay and I are looking for a house in Marion Township. I grew up in Howell Township on 10 acres, and Howell Township has some of the prettiest land. They truly do. And I've spent my entire, I did not appreciate it as a teenager living there. I mean, I recognized that it was beautiful land. It was rolling hills, and it was absolutely gorgeous. And I have missed that ever since. And I did not appreciate it like I should have but what kid does, right? Well, my sister Doreen and I were both talking about it and saying, both of us feel the same way. So I am actively looking to recreate that, some sort of, property in Marion Township. So if you know of something that's coming for sale, or, there's not that much that meets our criteria with, having some, I don't want a new build on a little land. I want some acreage. I want a few acres or better. 10 is ideal, but for the right place, I would, go less or more, but I would, that's what we're kind of looking for. So anybody out there in Marion Township, or somebody in Marion Township that's thinking about selling, or, thinking about moving or whatever, let's have a conversation. So there's my email, or you can reach me personally. I guess that's not a party thing. So personally reach me at Deb Drick, one word, debdrick@gmail.com. So you can reach out if you got a house in Marion Township you want to talk to me about. I would love to do that. So, all right. Well, this is it. Thanks for hanging in there tonight. I love having guests that, are not afraid to throw it out there and make me laugh. So, Kevin, if you can hear this on your way home, thank you so much for showing up. It was great. And we will see you remotely next week. All right. Have a good week.